What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the JT Sports Podcast. I'm your host, JT. Thursday night football, the Seahawks take down the Cardinals, and at one point looked to be a blowout, a runaway game. It was 20-6 at the start of the fourth. Then all of a sudden, Kyler Murray, remember where he put the keys to the Maserati, and in the final 6 minutes, Marvin Harrison went from looking like a bust to the second coming of Randy Moss, and Kyler Murray actually showed me something. And the Cardinals went from having no life to almost having a shot at pulling off this win, but Sam Darnold and the boys came through and they got it done. I'll be honest about the Seahawks. I was wrong about this team. I didn't believe that this would be a playoff team because I didn't have confidence that Sam Darnold could be as good or halfway as good as what he was last season. It felt to me like it was a one-hit wonder kind of situation. Well, he's proved me wrong so far throughout the first quarter of the season. He's been as good as advertised, and he's been the quarterback that the Seahawks have needed him to be. The Seahawks don't need Sam Darnold to be an MVP level quarterback. They don't even need him to play 70% as good as what he did last year in Minnesota. They need Sam Darnold to do what he's done so far this season and tonight. Make the big plays when necessary. We don't need you to win us a game, throwing the ball 30, 40 plus times. We just need you to make the big throws in the big moments. And that's what Sam Darnold did, especially on that final drive when he hit JSN on that beautiful throw to set up the eventual game-winning field goal. Sam Darnold made a bunch of plays that kept Seattle in the driver's seat of this game late when the momentum could have shifted and went in Arizona's direction. He outplayed Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's getting paid more than Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold looks like the better of the two quarterbacks. If I ask you right now, who would you rather start a franchise with, Sam Darnold or Kyler Murray, who would you pick? I'm going with Sam Darnold. Unlike Kyler Murray, Sam Darnold has shown the ability to play consistent football. He can be consistent for a stretch throughout the season. Kyler Murray can't say the same for him. He can play good one week, and then the next week, look completely awful, and then sometimes have completely good stretches of football when he plays good for a month, and then have stretches of football when he looks overrated. I like Seattle a lot more now than what I did a few weeks ago before this season started, and I was already high on Mike Macdonald. Mike Macdonald right now is the front runner for Coach of the Year. His defense has been outstanding. They have been second in points per game allowed, only giving up 15 per contest. And the Baltimore Ravens, I know they really miss him right now with how favorable the Seahawks schedule is. They play a bunch of average, below average offenses and quarterbacks. If they can split with the Rams and the 49ers, they have a shot to win the NFC West title and maybe put themselves in the conversation to get the 1 seed in the NFC. They got an easier schedule than the Philadelphia Eagles. Their defense is playing well, and they got a lot of good players on both sides of the football. The Seahawks are one of the better drafting teams in the league. So as long as they don't sustain any major injuries, which is one thing that they have on their side, unlike the other teams in this division, like the Cardinals, the 49ers, and the Rams, the Seahawks are the more healthier team in this division than the other three foes in this division. Or let me rephrase that because I want to clip that. The Seahawks can win the NFC West this season because they're the most healthy team in this division. The Seahawks, unlike the Cardinals, the Rams, and the 49ers, they don't have a bunch of injuries that they're dealing with, unlike their other three in division foes. So I like their chances to win this division this year. As long as Sam Darnold keeps playing the way that he has, the Arizona Cardinals are a really frustrating watch because once again, you were unable to play a complete football game. You start out slow in the first half, and then you come alive in the final 6 minutes of the second half. This is the same reoccurring theme with the Arizona Cardinals. Anytime they go up against a playoff caliber football team, they don't play a full 60-minute game. They either start out fast in the first half and then they end up finishing the game in the second half slow and they end up stalling on offense. Or they do what they did tonight, start out slow in the first half, then come alive when the game seems like it's already all but over. And then it's one of those too little, too late kinds of situations. And the main reason for why the Cardinals can't play complete games is because Kyler Murray is very inconsistent. He's the most streaky quarterback in the NFL. On the possession the basis, Kyler Murray is a roller coaster ride. He can look good for one drive, make a spectacular throw, or have a fantastic run that makes you think, damn, why isn't Kyler Murray in the Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes tier of quarterbacks? Because he has the athleticism to be in that conversation, so why isn't he in it? Well, then the next possession, you end up getting the answer to that question. He throws a lot of fadeaway passes. He throws a lot of throws off his back foot. He doesn't like standing tall in the pocket when there's a lot of pressure coming at him. And he's just really inaccurate throwing the ball in the middle of the field. And that's what comes with being a short quarterback. When you're undersized, you're never going to be that good seeing in the middle of the field. So that's not really going to be your strength. But Kyler Murray's inconsistency is what keeps him stuck in the B tier of quarterbacks in the NFL. Kyler Murray has the physical abilities and the talent to be an MVP level quarterback like Lamar, Josh Allen, and Mahomes, but his streaky play is what keeps him stuck in the above average, very good tier of quarterbacks. And that's frustrating if you're an Arizona Cardinals fan, because that's one of the reasons why you're stuck in this 7, 8, 9 win range as a franchise, because Kyler Murray hasn't taken that next step and being that elite quarterback that he has the ability to be, and he might not ever be able to reach that level. And that's what makes Kyler Murray such a huge disappointment. As much as people like to get on Trevor Lawrence for being a generational disappointment, Kyler Murray is in that same conversation. Outside of Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray's the most athletically gifted quarterback that the NFL has ever seen, not named Lamar. He's one of the greatest athletes ever. He can play in the MLB if he wanted to. He could play in nearly any sport that he wanted to if he didn't have to play football today. But unfortunately, the production with Kyler Murray never matches the talent that he has. He has the talent of a top 5 quarterback, but doesn't have top 5 production. And his career is incredibly underwhelming. Only 1 Pro Bowl appearance, only 1 playoff appearance, only 1 or 2 winning seasons. You know, for a guy that went first overall, you expect a lot more out of Kyler Murray. And I get it that he's not the most ideal situation, but when you go first overall, you're supposed to elevate a franchise. Cam Newton changed the Carolina Panthers. Andrew Luck made the Indianapolis Colts a playoff team. And when both of those guys were gone off the respective franchises that drafted them, they were never the same after. If the Cardinals were to get rid of Kyler Murray, I'm not that convinced that they wouldn't be better off without him. He's just such a chaotic player that it makes it hard for the Cardinals to sustain enough consistency to be a playoff team. That's why they're so up and down throughout the season. And overall, in spite of all of the injuries that the Cardinals had on defense, the defense played well enough to win the game. Now, they didn't come up and get the stop that they needed to get the game to overtime, but you held Seattle to 20 points when Seattle really should have won this game by 10, but you had the JSN holding, which took a touchdown off the board. Seattle had to settle for 3. Then you had the 53-yard field goal, which was wide right, which also should have iced this game for Seattle. So the Cardinals defense got a few breaks. They gave the offense a chance. As a matter of fact, the main reason why this game even was competitive in the end was because of how well Arizona's defense was playing, giving this offense an opportunity to finally get going. It took them the final 6 minutes to finally find the keys to the ignition. And it felt good to see Marvin Harrison Jr. out there doing this thing, because I was losing hope as a Marvin Harrison Jr. fantasy owner. I'm still not convinced that he has figured it out. It took him the final 6 minutes to realize, damn, I was a top 5 pick. I need to actually go out there and play like it. Took him the final 6 minutes to start looking like Randy Moss, and he's breaking down after the touchdown. Yeah, I don't blame you for breaking down, man. I forgot who the hell you were. You're Marvin Harrison Jr. Your dad is one of the greatest receivers to ever play this game. So with that last name, with that Junior in the back of your jersey, there's a lot of expectations that comes with that. And for certain guys like Marvin Harrison Jr., you get held to a certain standard in spite of being a young player. You don't normally see receivers getting drafted in the top 5. So when you take a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr., you can't say, give him time, give him time, give him time, when the second receiver off the board and Marvin Harrison Jr., same draft class, has already submitted himself as one of the best receivers in the game in Malik Neighbors, who's already proven to be a superstar. So you can't continue to tell me, wait, when this is a receiver who you invested a top 5 pick in. And I think for the Arizona Cardinals, if you keep getting the inconsistency with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray, you're going to have to trade one of them. Somebody's going to have to go. Both of these guys aren't going to be able to coexist because they don't have playing styles that allow each other to coexist properly. Kyler Murray can't see in the middle of the field. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a really good possession receiver. He's not a deep threat. And unless you're really good outside the numbers and you have track-like speed, you're not going to be that beneficial for Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, his limited height is holding back Arizona and is holding back Marvin Harrison to a certain extent. Now, Marvin Harrison still needs to go out there and not drop catchable passes. And there were 2 interceptions that Kyler Murray threw tonight that were both from Marvin Harrison Jr., not running through the route on the first one. And on the second one, the dude just couldn't catch the freaking football. Now, he came alive in the final 6 minutes. That's cool, but where is this for the first 45 minutes of the game? This is what we need. We need the Marvin Harrison Jr. that we saw in the final 6 minutes against the Seattle Seahawks play like this for the entirety of the game. That's what the Arizona Cardinals drafted. So there's a lot of things about Arizona that really frustrates you, because they came close to beating a really good team in spite of all the injuries that they had. And Kyler Murray actually showed me something. He showed me that he can be a franchise quarterback. Because if it wasn't for the final 6 minutes of this game, we'll be having a much different conversation about both Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr.